Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. And today we're going to be going for 2 versus 2, a rolling start, in fact, partly because, well, I'm short on time, or, well, I actually want to get on to my dinner, and, you know, having rather had a sort of displaced sort of schedule these last few days, of course, and after I have to do all of this after university. So of course that also means there's not much time. I actually want to get something to eat and also get this stuff up in time. So it's going to be a 2 versus 2 on McGechaens. We're going to see Vlad, yes indeed Vlad, again fighting as the Wehrmacht, and we are going to be seeing his friend durex, both part of Rockel, fighting for the Axis. Combined they shall make the 12th SS Panzer Division, Hitlerjugend. Opposing them shall be 2 British commanders, in fact, quite spectacular, Jabrando and Golthar, which sounds like some sort of enemy from some sort of generic 80s cartoon. Golthar. Either way, Brenker is also on the way. They seem to be rather having their ideas together already. Golthar and Jabrando with Brenker's reconnaissance sections all heading towards the same spot. And already here, of course, we can imagine there might be some problems, of course, if they get too climbed up and, of course, suffer early losses. They might quickly be beaten off. And, of course, from the Axis, we are seeing a slightly more variation there, but the Allies will be fighting for the 11th Armoured Division. I think. Panzer is coming out to fire. Brenker moving up to support them. Golthar sprint doing a bit of work there, while Jabrando is moving up behind lines. All the while, the British are in fact securing the fuel point. A bit naughty that. And there we go, fuel point has been rendered neutral. Panzer is firing away. MG42 moving up to support. So far, no infantry for Vlad. A bike, but no infantry. And one team popping into the Brenker, perhaps hoping to flank away. And there we go, moving up, although there's a bike behind them. Might be an idea for the British troops to get out to sort of get the most out of it. Instead, they're taking lots and lots of fire from all sides, and they can't quite focus on one side. And there we go, now popping out finally, but I think it's too late, and there we go. Brenker is down, Brenker is kaput. Although not doing too well, and the British are taking heavy losses already. They tried to force the issue, and they failed. And as you can imagine, you're now seeing the consequences of that failure. Partly, you might be noticing they haven't actually secured much, if anything, on the map. That's one major issue of going for something like this right off the bat. Quite a problem. And of course, there's also taking quite some heavy losses, lots of infantry, and a Brenker down. That's not something you like to see right off the bat. Of course, one has secured the fuel, but that's about it. Second one has actually yet to still move. And again, they haven't really taken much territory. Brenker sort of trying to protect as 12th SS troops are quickly pushing forwards, undaunted by what little firepower the British can muster. Another MG42 out for Vlad, and a sniper now. That's going to be pretty heavy support. Normally not what I recommend, but considering how the British are playing, it could actually work. And British infantry section running into the old barn, firing down on the MG42. That means the infantry section could actually win. But British already penned in, and again, they don't really have a lot of the territory. Now getting a lieutenant to help a bit, but he's, you know, not at the front, which could also be helping. And again, I'd rather recommend, you know, using the infantry section in the first place. Now the Wehrmacht, the Axis in general, are securing the majority of the map. Field support. No, that's the headquarters command track moving up. Mortar emplacement going up from Jabrando. It's a bit too close out on everything. Not entirely sure why, he ought to know. And there's an MG42 right there. You don't place your mortars right there. Now Golthar trying to lay down a mortar emplacement. Golthar and the mortar emplacement of doom. Yes, indeed. Panzer is though continuing to support the MG42. Also a slight bit of rumour. Apparently there's a Company of Heroes movie on the way. Yes, indeed, I know. A bit odd. And from what I've seen, there's been some slight imagery from one of the actors, who's Tom Sizemore, who was part of Saving Private Ryan. Also one who sort of was part of the Band of Brothers. Looks like a company who mostly does B movies, and also did the Red Faction movie for GHQ. If it hasn't actually been finished, I'm not sure. Not the most inspiring thing, and looks sort of like, well, you know, straight for DVD stuff. Lieutenant, though, being forced away by Panzergrenadiers right in the east. And Brenker pushing on here. British under a lot of pressure. No casualty claim station, which might actually have been the best thing. Infantry section here continues to fighting. Panzergrenadiers and MG42 chaps continue to fire away. Brenker hoping to perhaps clear out this MG42, and there we go, MG42 cleared out. If the British can push up, they could in fact secure this MG42 and begin using it against Jerry, the Hun, the Kraut, the Bosch, which was actually sort of French thing, but no, Panzer Grenadiers actually pop on it, thus denying it to the Allies, but at the same time, that's 255 manpower on an MG42, and that's actually more than the MG42 itself was worth. Fascinatingly enough. Better than nothing, I imagine. Infantry section need to get out there, and there we go. In fact, mortar placement there was cancelled. Not really looking good for the British. Again, heavy pressure, and again, not perhaps the most exciting fight in some senses, but again, it's what I had to go for. Again, had a bit of variation. Otherwise, it's going to be another short 1 versus 1 featuring Don't Shoot. And I'd rather feel like, you know, I might want to show a game where it's actually perhaps, you know, winning. Another attempt at a mortar placement. Again, sometimes you need just games, you know, for what not the bloody hell to do. And again, one of the reasons it's not really working seems to be partly for the British, not enough coordination. And again, the sort of fact they sort of allowed themselves to be bottled in quite too easily. Brenker could in fact, no, motorcycle I mean, could in fact be going down. Mortar placement is finally up for the British. Bike down, that's actually the first solid loss really to the Axis. Although of course an MG42 having to be crewed by Panzer Grenadier, never good either. Though again, I'm pretty sure durex is happy he now has an MG42 of his own. I'm sure Vlad is less pleased. He's lacking an MG42, and of course he's also lacking infantry. And I really only think it's working in this case, otherwise it's not really what I'd recommend at all. Another MG42 sorted out. And this time Pioneers rushed in to clear it out. No recon section actually trying to hunt down the sniper, but unfortunate. Mortar rounds keep flying. Keep putting the pressure on Jerry. The Krauts. Of course the Panzergrenadiers are fighting the heroic front against the British. Panzer Grenadiers out in the open versus British out in the open. No casualty clearing station again. I can't help but feel this is a huge mistake from the British. I mean, they have a lot of infantry on the field. Casualty clearing stations would really help with attrition, and again also really tip things against the Wehrmacht and the Axis. Panzer Grenadier team though goes down for durex. That's pretty grim. Although he's now going for the Kampfgruppe Company. Might be going for half-tax, or might be going something else. In the meanwhile, of course, due to the huge territorial superiority they've gained, and of course all the resources they're getting through that, we are now seeing a Sturm Armory going up for Vlad. He might be going for the armoured cars, he might be going for Stugs, Nebelwerfers. Probably not an officer though. Probably not an officer. Slow territorial gains finally in the east, and an officer up for Jabrando as well. MG42 setting up by some expert Panzer Grenadier. Finding a way heroically. Although an enemy recon section is moving in to flank them.
We are losing a sector.
And we are now seeing a Bren carrier as well with a Vickers machine gun. Heavy losses for the MG, although again they are Panzer Grenadiers who have recruited, so they have the health. They also have this sort of soldier armor. They have, of course, all the other bits. Of course, they are slightly more advantageous than a regular MG42 team in that sense. We are seeing a machine gun emplacement going up. Not entirely sure that's what they want. We're seeing field support truck up for Jabrando. Sappers. Not a captain. I would recommend a captain and a steward as bloody soon as possible. Armor would really be, I think, the best choice to really rush against the Axis, catch them a bit off guard. And of course, in particular, with there's a Sturm Armory out, and of course, Schwerer Panzer Spähwagen armored car is up. And we are seeing a Panzer Support Command, we're seeing a Panzer Command. Durex really putting a lot into logistics. Assault rifle equipped Panzer Grenadiers of the 12th SS pushing forwards. Sturmgewehr in hand. Another attempt at a machine gun emplacement. I don't think they should be going so heavily on machine gun emplacements, you know. Better get something armored, better get something, you know, a bit more mobile. And again, also be careful about placing it that frontally out. Armored car to the rescue, though. Not for the British, of course. Oh, they didn't cancel it. They did not cancel it, I think. Heavy losses being incurred. And that Bren carrier is in what you'd call a lot of trouble. There we go. Damaged engine. The tiny little engine can't handle all that stress. Might in fact be going down any second now. Actually, time to have a look at Golthar, who's going up for... We're seeing a Bofors up for Jabrando to protect against the Russian armored car. Not a bad idea. Mines up. Sap. Piats up. Field support drag up. No captain though. No captain again. Captain, get some stewards out. I mean, you have the bloody fuel for it, so get some light armor. Push against the Hun. Mates, chaps, lads, boys. Just don't, you know, keep throwing infantry at the Jarrius when they've got all the stuff they need to kill your lads. What they are, in fact, pretty lacking in is the killing British armor business. Sabres do a bit of damage, and we're already seeing veterancy up for the armored car. Of course, vehicle veterancy is slightly more effective, and I believe that's 25%, whereas armor only get 15% damage resistance. Jolly good there, of course.
300 points.
Nicely done by Les Vladis. And there we go, British push getting stopped again, blobbing up. Be careful with that. And looks like Lieutenant Geordie is cut out in the open. Panzer Grenadiers finding a way. Get out of there, Lieutenant. Get out of there. And there we go. Still no steward, I suspect. Getting the headquarters out on the move. Not entirely sure why he's pulling out to the front. Why on earth are they doing that, Golthar? There's no bloody sense in that. There's nothing there. I suppose it could be some sort of misclick, but still, I mean, no idea why.
Troops ready. Section is.
Troops hanging about at the front. Another armored car arrives, I suspect. How many are there? 3 so far. Headquarters command truck being handed down, and tank half tank up for Durex. Not really looking good though. Sniper finding away. And again, the British are sort of, you know, constantly trying to push through here instead of, you know, trying to push through here. Perhaps forcing away the Axis, just leaving some sort of defense force that, of course, would require more effort from the Axis to break through. Commanders coming in for Golthar. Lots of MGs here, snipers, Panzer Grenadiers getting suppressed, in fact, somehow. And commandos pop in and drop in for a bit of fun. And looks like they'll be running straight into an MG42. Grenades. Anti-tank, half-tank, all the nasty stuff. And heavy losses. In fact, the anti-tank, half-tank really just tanked through them. And of course, now the commander's being forced to run through a hailstorm of automatic fire, thus being quickly lost. I mean, I have no idea why I kept hanging about. So again, and you know, be careful about dropping in your commandos, in particular when you don't have full access to what's going on, or full knowledge. And again, you know, don't try to just keep hammering down the same tight spot. You know, it's sort of like, you know, those things for kids with sort of shapes you hammer in, and you're sort of basically hammering the wrong shape in the wrong hole. And again, there's a pretty huge open space here that could be used against the Axis, but it's not. And now he's moving out his steward there for some apparent reason, instead of actually trying to push that in, where it could be doing some good in supporting his infantry. And again, I mean, they're finally getting one now. After those armored cars have caused so much havoc and getting more veterans again. terribly done. Terrible prioritizing in what units you actually get, and I'll also say terribly situational awareness, I think, both from Golthar and Jabrando. And again, I'm not really liking this sort of highly support thing here from Vlad, but again, I mean, in this game, it's probably going to work though. Again, the British so far aren't really managing to pull off something very threatening. Another lieutenant bit the dust. Stood finally on the move. Finally proving to be some sort of a threat. Bunkers going up for Vlad. Several repair bunkers, no medic bunkers though. Get some medic bunkers up preferably as well. And we are seeing a casualty station up here for Golthar. Let's go look at Jabrando. He's stood moving about. And what else is going on? Armor command truck on the way. He could be getting another steward. Again, what I would recommend. Light anti-tank half-tank moving about. Steward again. He's not really getting much out of it. Which again is a terrible shame, and he's not supporting it either. Another... There you go, armor command truck arrives. Hooray for the British. For the 11th Armoured. Of course I have to see how it works. Out, light anti-tank half-tank though going up against this steward. Steward taking quite a bit of damage. But so is the light anti-tank half-track. Armored cars, now veterancy free, and what does veterancy free does? Well, for armored cars, it actually makes them do more damage. Panzers having arrived from durex, that's only going to make the woes of the British worse. Light anti-tank half-track goes down. But the British are currently in a lot of trouble. Why is that, might some of you inquire? Well, they only have Piats against Panthers. No 17-pounder guns. And no Fireflies or anything that could really prove to be detrimental to the health of the Panthers. And this is pretty much still a strong point. Still several MGs. Panzer Grenadier equipped and otherwise. Steward knocked out by the Panthers. Armoured cars rushing up throughout the centre. Heavy damage to one armoured car, in fact. But not actually knocked out. Not really looking good. And another British assault again stopped here. I mean, I have no idea why they keep trying to attack there. They should probably just change the angle of attack, or should have done so, in fact, a long time ago. Kampfkraft Center going up for Vlad. Quite interesting enough. Wonder what he has in mind. And Panthers causing absolute havoc, catching the armor command truck of Golthar out in the open. That's less than spiffy. Piat moving in. Heroically trying to knock out the Panther. 17-pounder gun going up. Not really the best of places, not very open. A lot of things could, in fact, block its line of fire. I mean, if the Panthers were to set up here and, you know, fire here, it couldn't do anything. Of course, other units could just get up close and you do damage, get away again. So again, bad placement for that 17 gun emplacement.
QM's just distributed supercharged rounds to the artillery.
Some Piats finding a way. More Piats trying to defend the field support truck of Golthar. But not having much luck. Kangaroos on the way for Jabrando. And we are seeing the usual kangaroo unit. Infantry section with Brens, 2 Piats. So they're basically hoping for the kangaroo, which was actually sort of named for essentially a sort of modification that was actually done to several types of British armor. Although some would also be called other things, but in general I think the term was kangaroo. What was that, you ask? Essentially it was taking a tank, or in some cases a self-propelled artillery piece, remove the gun and all that, and basically now turn it into an armored personnel carrier. British base being sort of wreaked havoc in. Either way, the sort of here was a sort of armored carrier ready there. Not sure entirely sure they could fire out of it actually, and what, even if they were trained for it. But there you go, it had some success, although I'm not sure how much. There was this, which is actually based on the Ram, which was a sort of Canadian attempt at the German tank. There was also one on sort of the priest, or was it the bishop? I can't remember. self-propelled artillery piece. There were even some on the Stuart tanks which were sort of made. So fun details there, but now on the move. Has been thankfully nerfed after the last patch, so it's less insane now. Although I suppose still well used, it can be a nuisance botting down that Panther, moving in close. Home to get up some Piet rounds. Doing a bit of damage to both Panthers. Veteran 2 on this one. Will they succeed? And a Panther is down.
Sniper is MIA and presumed dead.
And Veteran 1 for the lieutenant inside, of course.
They're losing a strategic location.
But it might be an idea to stop up the Kangaroo, and there we go. Get the sappers to work. Armoured car patrol still moving about, still proving quite lethal.
Forward supply lines.
No further armoured business though for the British. Second Kangaroo on the way. Though I might say it might be a better idea to actually get a Firefly out. You know, just a casual suggestion. Mid-game analysis. Again, pretty grim for the British, although the Kangaroos might prove to be a bit decisive since the Axis might be a bit unprepared for that. I mean, it's not what at least I usually see anymore. But half-tracks with rockets attached, also known as the Stuka zu Fuß, or the walking Stuka. It was actually called several names, and there was also the Stuka zu Fuß was also sort of something the Panzerfaust was called in the later stages of the war. So fun little fact there. Piet and all that moving out in the open, not the best idea against our Veteran 3 armoured cars. That tends to be a pretty rubbish idea, running into sniper and MG fire. Rifle grenades flying through the air, not doing much there. And Kangaroo from Jabrando moving forwards. Lots of artillery.
Losing a sector.
Lots of rockets as well, looks like. I'm hearing a Hummel. Yes, indeed, right there. Durex has gotten a Hummel, so of course he's gone scorched earth. Nothing for Vlad, nothing for little Vladdy. And the Piet doing what damage? Or the Kangaroo flying by, doing a bit of harassment. Snipers being forced away. Will he get him? No, but they got an MG. They're fighting here. Kangaroos popping out might have, yes indeed, killed a Pioneer team. Nasty commandos. It looks like the Kangaroo smells some targets. In fact, looks like he might be hunting down the armoured cars, or at least attempts to. Another Kangaroo ready, another Kangaroo getting filled up. Nothing though for the British in that way, or the other chap, I mean Golthar. Kangaroos quickly though escape the Kangaroo. Panther moving in, has to be careful though, despite being very too defensive. But no, apparently the Kangaroo does not give a damn about that. What does it? Quite a little artillery pack down there in Durex's space. Rockets and artillery of the schwerer kind. Panzer is trying to secure the victory point, coming on in heavy fire. In fact, most of the victory points are currently in the hands of the British. Casual cleaning stations not really managing much. In fact, there are 2 casual cleaning stations up for Golthar. That seems quite excessive, and so far no wounded really seem to have been picked up, which is a bit sad. And the Panther getting hunted down by the Kangaroo and its passengers. A bit of big game hunting, I suppose. Driving around with a big gun, shooting at some poor, not quite defensive animal. Out of control though. Of course, Panther still close. It could still be buttoned up. They could still fire off a good few rounds. But the lieutenant is dead. He did not make it out of there. The lieutenant died when the Kangaroo was wrecked. So that was actually a bit of a blow there to the British. And a huge blob moving out again. Be careful with blobs. And looks like they retreat in time. Sort of in time. Still taking heavy losses. I think that was a lieutenant who died there. Lots of rockets. And commanders doing a bit of capture work right here and there. Second Kangaroo, interesting enough, was not there to support the first one. I think that was also might have been a bit of a good idea. But apparently not in the mind of Jabrando. MG42 moving up for Vlad. He's apparently got a fresh one. And some grenadiers for the Panzerschreck. Taking no minute bunker, so he's actually training them. Other type of SS Panzer Grenadiers opposed. Lots of Panzerschrecks apparently. Might be a bit excessive. Pierre Sapper still getting caught out in the open. Still no real armor. Still no Fireflies or anything. Command tank on the way. The Jabrando is probably going to be getting the Fireflies then. I hope he is. And lots of British out in the open. A vast blob again. And again, all it takes is essentially one rocket barrage and they could all be gone. Or at least heavily damaged. I have a sensation it will happen soon. And there we go. British moving forwards. And oh dear, masterly predicted by Vlad. Extremely heavy losses. Building catches on fire. A Bren is left behind and very, very few men of Golthar actually make it out there. Let's go to durex. Another Kangaroo moves in, getting hit by Panzerschreck's command tank moving in, but I think it's a bit too late. Artillery getting called in on the Grenadiers. Lots of artillery, apparently some decoy. And Grenadiers taking some losses, but British troops themselves are taking losses. They're getting hit by mortar fire. And the light anti-tank half-tank. Although the mortar half-tank could, yes indeed, it is knocked out of control. Another Kangaroo out for Jabrando, no Fireflies again. I'd like to see a Firefly, I think. Would be quite effective if properly supported. And again, I'd also like to see some more substantial efforts in the east and no more bloody blobbing. Light anti-tank half-tank though getting hunted down. It has been cornered like a light anti-tank rat. Hummel keeps firing in the hopes of hitting something. Blowing up some fences. That really seems to be all it's managing. Panther charges in. British troops need to get out of there. Rückzug, Männer, Rückzug. And again the rocket barrage. Again he keeps blobbing up like a maniac. Or an idiot, depending on what sort of thing you favor. Several Hummels now. Hummel. Panzer Command is up. But actually Vlad has no use for it. Instead he just gets a Tiger. So why did he bother with the Panzer Command is beyond me. Let's speed this up a bit. Partially because I'm also starting to get hungry. Because there's no point in hanging about waiting for the fight to start. And again the blob is on the move. Again getting absolutely hammered.
The enemy has moved against one of Germany's victory points.
Command tank moving in. Still, wait, there we go. Actually a Firefly is up for Jabrando. No armor at all for Golthar, probably because he's spending all resources constantly remanning that blob. Not good at all. Kangaroo charging in, but no Firefly to support it. Heading the Tiger, but again, no Firefly. That's going to be a very short-lived adventure, I imagine.
The enemy is weakening even now.
Another lieutenant bit the dust. And a Kangaroo probably will be as well very soon. And the command tank sort of in the middle of things, not really doing much either. Needs to get out of there. Although I doubt it will actually make it in there. Artillery to sort of block its retreat. There we go, command tank is gone. Another Kangaroo, Firefly moving up. Still nothing really serious from Golthar anymore. He rather seems to be completely out of the game. In a sense, only really managing to blob and lose that blob. Which again is not really much. And again, that's sort of the problem with a lot of the 2 versus 2s I get. I mean, again, it can rather come down to one player playing absolutely terribly or not really being good at all. Stuff like that. And Jabrando really seems to be the one mostly carrying the fight here. I mean, Golthar is basically just a target at the moment.
We have eliminated the enemy.
Interesting enough, no one's actually managed to secure that Bren gun. Again, more rockets on that blob, but this time he actually retreats as well. And looks like durex has actually managed to fully upgrade his Panzer Grenadiers. They now have the ability to sprint, which actually requires you getting every upgrade for Panzer Grenadiers possible. But then they can sprint. And oh dear, British base getting hammered. Infantry section bites the dust again, or that perhaps might have been some sappers. Mary's a quick though to work on it.
To strike fear to the hearts of the enemy.
Commanders pulling in the east. Armored cars lining up in the center. Tiger as well. Let us return to Golthar, the Goltharian. Firefly blasting away. And he's in the east. Not much at all. Sappers hiding there, trying to do a bit of harassment. Commanders going to be in a lot of trouble as the armored cars arrive. Let's just speed this up a bit. Veterancy 3 on that Panther, absolutely nice.
Losing a strategic sector.
Kangaroo rushing in, ready to drop some pits, hoping to do some damage right here behind enemy lines. Sounds like more officers spinning the dust, more losses for Golthar, who's still again not getting an armored command truck, having lost the first one. Artillery getting called in here and there. Kangaroo carrier getting blasted, pelted, shower, but catches the Hummels. Looks like some losses are being done to the Germans, and the Hummels could in fact be going down. Yes, indeed, one Hummel has bit the dust. And quickly getting out of the Kangaroo before it bursts into flames. Veterancy 2 for the lieutenant. Another Hummel is down. I think it might be a bit too late. And this Firefly is not in a good condition at all. Apparently some self-propelled artillery has arrived for Jabrando. Some priests. And an infantry section actually going to be formed for Golthar in his casualty clearing station. Commanders moving in towards the flank, which is finally sort of open, but again this center is an absolute mess of half-tracks, armored cars, tanks and bunkers. And this British space again getting absolutely devastated with artillery, but of course the Hummels are no more, although again a Bergtiger would actually... No, wait a minute. Wrecks are getting shattered. And a Bergtiger is actually ready, so he's actually going to try and at least salvage one Hummel, if possible, if it doesn't get hammered by artillery and wrecked completely. Another Kangaroo. Jabrando just doesn't give up on those Kangaroos, and Golthar just doesn't seem to care one bit about getting an armored command truck.
They're losing a munitions sector.
And the priest is caught out in the open, and he's probably going to get defrocked soon, as the Panther and Tiger doesn't quite feel the same about his sermon as the British troops do. Again, commanders dropping in. 17-pounder gun actually goes up in time, trying to protect this area. Armored cars dodges the shot, absolutely amazing. Pierre shots against that. And of course, half-tanks quickly moving up with the rockets to clear out that emplacement. quite some losses there. Turning over to Jabrando, who looks to have lost his headquarters command track. And now Jabrando getting a casualty killing station of his own. Full force getting, well, quickly sorted out. Firefly moving up. Panther down, actually. Panther down. And a fresh Hummer has arrived while the other one has been completely pulled together. That was again giving a small self-propelled artillery battery for durex to show those British are the meaning of death. And now, of course, it's all around Jabrando's headquarters, of course. That's where all of the artillery is going to get focused, where all the rockets, where all the 150mm shells will be landing.
Execute counter battery drills.
Apparently getting some counter battery stuff. Yes, I know, a highly technical term. And 17-pounder gun getting flank attacked. So they're getting called in. Armor cars quickly dodge it. And more artillery again, not the sort of thing you want to be careful with, you know, placing yourself in a sort of position like that. And another attack with the kangaroo. Half tracks could be going down, I suppose. And the Panther durex arrives. And Vlad apparently suspecting his opponent of drop hacking. So far I've not seen no message of one leaving. But I missed, of course. Still a bit hasty, a bit rude. British troops getting absolutely hammered out in the open. Let's just speed this final disaster for the 11th Armoured Division up. Mortar getting salvaged by the Bergtiger. Commanders getting rushed in to save the situation. More artillery, not really looking good for the British. Bren gun has still not been picked up, unbelievably. Headquarters command for some reason rather at the front. And GG. But apparently Jabrando does not give up until now. And there we go. Game over. Victory for the 12th SS Panzer Division in the face of the 11th Armoured. And what can we learn from this? Well, yeah, now be careful with sacrificing seizing territory in the beginning. That was rather the major problem for the British. They sort of bobbed themselves into a very small area, gambled all, lost all, and thus essentially wasn't really able to come back. Spent too many resources on kangaroos, and one in particular just spent too much on blobbing and not getting any armor. And again, there was a lack of stewardship, which again could have helped. Some really grim decisions by the British, some large misunderstandings, and again, not great placement of emplacements either. So I do hope you've learned something from this game. Of course, I hope you enjoyed it, but I can't guarantee it, of course. And again, I'll try my best, of course, to get something up perhaps more exciting in the next few days when I actually have the time for it. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own? This is Imperial Dane saying cheers and do be careful.